Hi there, it's Alexandra from the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel and blog, and we're doing an extra large wreath today. I've noticed that there's a trend for extra large wreaths. They're far too big for front doors, but they look wonderful on top of mantelpieces, or perhaps instead of a picture on the wall or on the outside of a house. So I've asked the very creative Jane Beedle, garden designer and finalist on Great British Bake Off, to show me how to do an extra large wreath.
Hello, I'm Jane Beedle and I'm a garden designer, although semi-retired now, but I'm just starting a cookery school called Jane's Kitchen, which should be up and running in 2020. Today I'm hoping that I'm going to show you how to use some of your garden stuff to make a wreath and some Christmas decorations. As a gardener, you know you're going to have lots and lots of stuff to chop back at this time of year and during the winter, and it's so much nicer to make that into something.
And of course they are great zero waste decorations, because when the festival is over you just clip off the foliage and the flowers, compost them and then keep the frame for next year. The ordinary florist's frames don't tend to be large enough. They tend to be 10 inches, 12 inches, 14 inches, and a super large wreath like the one beside me is about 60 centimetres in diameter or 23 inches. So Jane had the bright idea of actually buying hula hoops. This wreath that you can see here is made on a child's hula hoop at a 60 centimetre diameter, and you can also get them at 70 centimetres, 80 centimetres and so on. I've put links in the description below. They're very inexpensive, and Jane chose a green one so that if a bit of it shows through under the foliage it doesn't really matter.
When I moved here down to Faversham in Kent, I lost my supply of birch twigs, which I'll show you later, but I made a beautiful door wreath out of bits of birch that I found lying around on the golf course. So I wondered what I could use this year, and I struck on hula hoops. Now you can get some very reasonably priced hula hoops online. Actually, I got them from a kids sports school supply shop, and they were a fraction of the price of ones you can buy elsewhere. And I bought green, so if you don't cover it completely it doesn't really matter because you've got green showing through. And I'm going to wrap stuff around them because you've got a ready-made circle. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and spend lots of money. You just need a sharp pair of secateurs to chop things in the garden or in friends' gardens. I'm sure they'll be very grateful if you go and prune their ivy. I would. I've asked the neighbours to come and help themselves to mine. So the thing is to go around the garden and try and envisage what it might look like. Some of the bits might look like on your wreath or whatever else it is you're making.
Jane came into the Middlesized Garden and we picked some silver birch twigs, which I am about to prune anyway. And she also found some cotoneaster berries. We looked for holly berries, but actually by Christmas often the birds have had them all. We also looked at crab apples, and we picked off a lovely spray of crab apples, but as we walked across the garden we realised that they wouldn't be very useful for a hanging wreath because the little apples tend to drop. But Jane did manage to use the crab apples later in a table wreath, which you'll see. And we found some hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are brilliant for wreaths because they dry on the stem. And these are Hydrangea arborescens Annabelle, and they'd already dried. But you could cut hydrangeas that were not fully dried, and they will actually just dry on the wreath. And in Jane's garden she has lime trees, and lime trees, like silver birches, have twigs which are lovely and pliable, and you can weave them round into the wreath base. A friend had also given her some willow twigs, but those turned out to be a little bit too stiff, so Jane made a triangular hanging wreath with these, which I'll show you later. To wind the lime twigs or the silver birch twigs around the hula hoop, just weave them gently round and tie them in. As you go round for the second or third time, you can poke the ends under the branches that are there already. But keep tying things in as long as you feel you want to, and you can just use garden twine or florist's wire. The next layer is ivy. It's not quite the right time of year to be pruning ivy. It technically should be pruned in April or May. However, if you have a huge bunch of ivy on top of your trellis or on top of a fence, the winter winds could well bring it down. It acts like a sail. So it really is quite a good time of year to thin it out. Jane cut quite a lot of her own ivy and then wound it around the lime twigs and the hula hoop frame, tucking in the ends and tying it on as she went. By the time she'd gone round 2 or 3 times, The ivy and the twigs completely covered the hula hoop frame. So then it was ready to add the decorative elements. The cotoneaster berries and the hydrangeas were the two that she chose, and she simply poked the edges of these in amongst the lime twigs and the ivy, and she occasionally had to tie them in, but most of the time you can just poke the ends in. And then it was time to hang it on the wall. It makes a huge difference to add lights, and Jane has found battery fairy lights which have a timer. It's a very simple timer. If you turn the lights on, say at 4:30 in the afternoon, they'll stay on for 6 hours until about 10:30, and then the following day they'll go on at the same time that you switched them on originally. But of course, if someone comes along and starts playing with them in the meantime, they'll go on earlier than that. So if they don't seem to be working, that's probably the problem. Jane also made a smaller wreath which we put on the table, and we managed to put the crab apples in this and also some lengths of quite floppy conifer that weren't really going to work in the big wreath. And then we put a garden lantern in the middle and tried it out both with candles and with the battery fairy lights, and both look gorgeous, and that would make a lovely decoration for the table. However, as you've noticed, Jane's puppies, Florence and Minnie, have been helping us with the decorations, and they can jump on tables and nibble at the crab apples, and crab apples can be toxic to dogs. So if you do have dogs that jump on tables, do be careful about leaving crab apples or other slightly toxic plants where they can get them. You can just look up which plants are toxic on the internet. So how long do these wreaths last? This wreath that you can see beside me is about a week old, and it's been kept in a cool shed, it's been kept in a reasonably cool room, and it's also been kept outside, and it's been walked between mine and Jane's houses. So it's pretty resilient. If, for example, you make your wreaths very early in December and they've looked dried out by Christmas, you can always make them again, just cut the foliage off and start all over. However, I think you'd be safe for a week to 10 days with this particular style of wreath. There are links in the description below to various useful items like the hula hoops and the battery lights, and also to Jane Beedle on Instagram. And Jane is starting cookery workshops near Canterbury next year, so if you'd like to go on the mailing list to hear about those, contact her on janebeedle@icloud.com or see in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this, please do hit like, and then I'll know you'd like to know more about things you can do with your garden plants, especially for decorations in the winter. And if you'd like more tips, ideas and inspiration for your middle-sized garden, then do subscribe to the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.